Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Ruckusy crowd. Welcome back in. It is the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach, broadcasting from the Ravens Room here at the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City with Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand.
It's like that.
I think they still have alcohol running through their veins from Sunday night's game. That's what I think.
And there's a problem with that?
No, not at all. I'm more than happy. I wish I was a part of that on Sunday. Unfortunately, I had to be up early. But anyway,
I heard you were.
Guys, well, I might have been home watching the game, but believe me, the drinks were flowing. And it wasn't beer this time. It was a little bit harder. So they drove me drinking big time on Sunday night. Anyway, the win over the Patriots, guys, just want to wrap things up a little bit. We were talking some defense. We talked about the offense, a lot of positives there. You know, we did talk about defense, a couple of the negatives, though, got to get better. You know, again, the defensive line, the lack of pass rush has certainly hurt us. Kerry Williams got picked on. I will say this, though. You know, you take a look at the run defense. I was concerned about it coming into Philadelphia. They really showed up. They did it again against the Patriots. And you might say, well, the Patriots aren't really a running team. True, but if you go back to the AFC Championship game last year and other times, they may not run the ball for huge chunks of yards, but they run it effectively enough that it's hurt us. But I don't think, for the most part, I know they did have one rushing touchdown at the Ravens' defensive line, and the defense as a whole did a pretty good job stopping the run.
Yeah, I think they did too. And when the guys that impressed me the most, and in the run defense, were guys that were scraping down the line of scrimmage. Courtney Upshaw is, you know, he had a slow start to the preseason and even in training camp, but he's really coming on. And the one play where he scraped down the line of scrimmage and tackled the runner, I forgot which, I think it may have been Woodhead, on the other side of the line of scrimmage. I thought that was a real nice play.
There's also that reverse play that he stopped.
Exactly, I was about to say that. And also with Haloti Ngata, I thought he did a really nice job downfield. You know, when the plays were away from him, a guy that's 350 pounds that can pursue like he does, I think that's pretty credible.
Steve, he tackled, I think it was Woodhead, on a bubble screen. He came all the way down the line.
You don't see a big man run like he does. I mean, he looks like a linebacker, but he's 300 pounds plus. So.
And he wanted a piece to Logan Mankins big time.
Oh,
too.
Yeah. Oh, that was
that guy's a dirty player.
Oh, no question. He draws the dander of people.
But Upshaw, too, when Upshaw scraped down the line and dove, you know, for a guy that big is 275, 280. Yeah. I mean, that was a nice play.
Another guy that really showed up was Ed Reed.
Absolutely.
It's a great point. Yeah. He was fully engaged, and people forget before he got injured, John and guys, he was very good at coming up in the box and making tackles and blitzing. It would kind of look like the old Ed Reed on Sunday.
I haven't seen him play like that in about 5 years, I'd say. So I mean, he was tacked up. He was ready.
Guys, go ahead, Steve.
I said it's amazing what playing for a contract will do.
Yeah, very true, very true. Guys, we talked about the refs. And, you know, some of the penalties, I think, you know, benefited us. Some of them hurt. Some of them were you know, bogus. Some of them were legit. But still, 14 penalties is a lot. That's something that we talk about adjusting and all that. You know, they've got to work that out, though. I mean, replacement refs or not, 14 penalties is way too many.
No question. I mean, it was a fiery game. I mean, there were a lot of penalties. Most of them were penalties. I mean, there were some you could say weren't penalties, I guess. But overall, the Patriots, it was that type of style of game, I guess. And both sides were emotional. Both sides of the ball had a lot of penalties. You can't, and it's not really Raven-style football. It's not like it was in Detroit a few years ago or when Bart Scott against the Patriots throwing flags. I mean, it wasn't an it didn't feel like it was out of control, Tony, I guess is what I'm saying. It was just a hard-fought, emotional game, and there were some flags.
Yeah, I think that part of all those flags had to do with them trying to take control of the game because it got away from all the skirmishes early on. So the flags came out like probably from the middle of the second quarter on. And I think that was part of their way of trying to take control back of the game.
You know, we talk about the defense. They came up big in crunch time. They held the Patriots to a field goal in the late third, early fourth, and then 2 big stops there. I will say this, and we have seen this, and I guess it's a part of, too, some aging and a shift to at least balancing our offense out. Seem to give up some big drives at some inopportune times, and we've seen that over the last couple of years. You know, certainly at the end of the first half, that would have been great if we stopped them there. That would have been huge to give up a touchdown there and some other places we've talked about previous games. But I think that's something that, you know, it's a bend. I think more of a bend don't break defense. It seems like it's not the defense of yesterday. You're still very good, but hey, this isn't 2001.
But I think when you look at it, you know, we stopped them on the first 2 drives of the game. We stopped them on the last 2 drives of the game. You know, it was crunch time. We came through and did what we had to do, and I thought the defense overall, you know, they gave up a lot of yards, but when it was time to play, they played.
I thought they really responded in a big way after the penalty on Harbaugh for 15 yards and gave them an automatic first down. They really responded after that because I thought the game was over right there.
And it's funny, though, you know, Harbaugh tried to cover himself and saying, no, I was calling a timeout by being out in the field, but NBC replayed it. No, he was trying to get the ref over to talk to him. So it was a nice job of trying to, you know, fake it, but that wasn't the case. I guess a couple of the really quick things, guys. You know, special teams, I think, continue to be solid. They're covering well, but also the returning Deontay Thompson, that undrafted free agent for Florida. We keep talking about him. He came up big again last night against the Patriots and did a very solid job.
Justin Tucker.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. Justin Tucker, guys, boy, we talk about reminiscent now. Billy Cundiff was wide left. He's almost wide right. I mean, they call the timeout. I'm telling you.
Good the whole way.
But Sam,
what would the storylines have been if he misses it wide right, folks? That would have been crazy.
But Sam Cook had an amazing hold on that because that wasn't the greatest snap in the world, and he got it down. It was a great hold.
And those kinds of things are really underrated, too, because when they had, I think, another down or 2 that they could have used.
But they could have, but they didn't
have enough time. They ran it down to 2 seconds,
Right.
so maybe the clock management there could have been questioned a little
no,
bit.
and they brought that up on the NBC telecast, Tony. That's an excellent point. You know, why not give yourself a little bit more time? They didn't decide to do that. I guess the final thing in terms of the New England game, the end of the game, Bill Belichick touched a referee. And, you know, a lot of the pundits are saying, oh, nothing's going to happen to him. I think at minimum he gets, you know, he gets a fine. He may not be suspended, but I don't know if it was regular refs. If he doesn't get suspended for that, I know Papa was saying if it was Harbaugh, he thinks he would be suspended a game. I disagree with that. I think he'd be fine, but I'd be curious to see what happens to Belichick after the league sent out a memo about, you know, admonishing the refs and, you know, just being maybe a little out of control. You can't touch a ref.
That's the thing. I mean, you really can't touch. When you look at a touch, I mean, it was you know, pretty weak. I mean, you didn't really grab him.
Just inviting them for dinner.
But it doesn't.
I'll go south. They were going to go out for a beer at Mother's or something.
But it doesn't matter. You touch it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You touch it.
I know what you're saying.
I know he was trying to stop him,
Yeah.
but still, you know, that's.
Another Packer.
It was a man hug.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but and somebody, I think Joel brought up a good point too during the break that who was on with us earlier. The challenge by Harbaugh on the Anquan Bolden stretch, that was huge. That was huge because they initially were a yard short. They got a measurement. They were a yard short, but as the replay showed, you know, he was able to stay in bounds and extended the ball. I think that was huge for the Ravens there.
Absolutely, and he used a tactic that Belichick would use very often, which is to ask for a measurement that really didn't need to be granted at all, but they did, and then he was able to take a few more looks at the instant replay, and he was comfortable with throwing that red flag out there, so it worked out pretty well. So, touche, Belichick.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
A couple of good coaching decisions the last couple of weeks. That one, and then the clock management at the end of the first half of the Eagles game, getting an extra field goal out of it. So, Harbaugh, he's learning how to coach.
Going around the rest of the AFC North briefly, guys, to recap a team we play on Thursday. The Cleveland Browns falling to the Buffalo Bills 24-14, so they now drop to 0-3. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they were up in this game at one point by 10 points, 31-21, but the Oakland Raiders continue to hang around. They come back and get a Sebastian Janikowski 43-yard field goal to win 34-31, dropping the Steelers to 1-2, and a game in which, I think we can all salute that. Big Ben had a huge game, 4 touchdown passes, but at the end of the day, Oakland had 3 more points on the board. Carson Palmer had a pretty good day, and Darren McFadden ran all over that vaunted Steelers defense. I don't think they're quite the big bad Steelers defense of years past. He had 18 rushes, 113 yards for a 6.3 average. So the Ravens and the Bengals, both at 2-1, and the other 2 teams, well, Steelers in third at 1-2, and the Browns at 0-3. Guys, the Cleveland Browns, the team that we play on Thursday night. Look, it's a divisional game. We're coming off a big win. I know we're favored by some 12.5 points, but look, I mean, it's again your traditional cliche trap game, guys. I don't think the Ravens lose this one, but they need to watch out and still come to play ball.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think it's tough to go from a Sunday night game to a Thursday night game. But, that being said, I think we have enough in our arsenal to beat Cleveland. But I'm like you, where I don't know that we'll cover the spread, but, we should hang in there and win the game.
Yeah, it's early in the season. If this same sort of set of circumstances happens a month and a half from now, it might be a little bit more taxing physically. They came out of the Patriots game pretty much unscathed injury-wise, so I think they'll be okay, and I think, they don't have any choice but to focus on this game right now. There's no soaking up the glory of beating the Patriots.
Right. And, John, this is a divisional game, so we can talk about hey, the New England game's huge to beat an AFC team like that, but first and foremost, division have a chance now to go 2-0 after beating Cincinnati in Week 1.
Yeah, the fact that this is at home, I think, is a big deal. No travel plans to worry about. I mean, you stay at home. It's a divisional game. Feel a little less secure if, even if it was going to Cleveland, a short trip. But I think Tony's right. I kind of like this. It's a big win against New England. We don't have time to really feel good about ourselves, and we have a Thursday opponent, which we should beat. I think beat handily. It's at home before we get a semi-bye week, as Tony put it, before we go to Kansas City. So I kind of like it.
Brandon Whedon, the rookie quarterback starting for them out of Oklahoma State, completing just 56.5%. He's got 6 interceptions to 3 touchdown passes. The #1 draft pick, Trent Richardson, averaging 3.5 yards a carry. But outside of the big game against Cincinnati, his first against the Eagles, and then last week or this past Sunday against the Bills, really has done absolutely nothing. Again, a big struggle for the Browns. They don't have any receivers. They don't really have a lot of guys to go to. Greg Little may be that guy that they'd like to be their #1, but they just don't really have any standout receivers for this team. Defensively, you take a look, a couple of big draft picks on the defensive line, yet last year and this year teams are running the ball all over them. So again, I mean, here we sit, it's another rebuilding year for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, this should be a feast for the Ravens, really. I mean, coming to Baltimore, one-dimensional team, Trent Richardson a rookie, Whedon a rookie. Are we picking right now?
Yeah, go ahead, let's pick. We got 25 seconds.
I'm going to say 34-10 Ravens. And the 10 is optional. 10. 34-3, just for you.
I'm going to say a little bit of a letdown this week. They won't cover the line. I say 24-17 Ravens.
30-10 Ravens.
I'll take the Ravens 24-10. Folks, we're back next week. It is the Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio. Home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. Go Ravens. We're back next week.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.